why do you keep going at Nikki Haley? Why do you think this is going to bear fruit?
Chris, I don't know what you've been smoking, man. You and the rest of the mainstream media. It's laughable. Nikki Haley's been going after me the whole campaign. First debate, second debate. You know, she's been trailing me for much of the time, but I realize the establishment media has realized that there's a puppet they want to put up. I'm not playing that game. The grassroots of this country know they want a leader who isn't going to send us, our sons and daughters, to go die in foreign wars that racked up $7 trillion in debt. Dick Cheney 2.0 is taking over the GOP. Problem is the Democratic establishment media is now rooting for war, too. I'm the only candidate speaking for a true America First agenda on that debate stage, and I think we're going to be successful.
Vivek, how are you going to bring people together when you just put together a tapestry of conspiracies? You know that I'm not pitching anything about
Chris,
Nikki Haley.
What are you talking about?
She won't even come on my show.
There's no tapestry.
She won't even come on my show.
Tapestry
what are you talking about,
Pepe? I'm sure she doesn't.
Hold on a second.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy because, once again, this guy is taking it to the mainstream liberal media, and he's not holding back. He's telling the truth about the agenda of the media that they don't want to acknowledge. And in this interview right here with Chris Cuomo, CNN's Reject, Chris Cuomo is going to have a full-blown meltdown over Vivek, calling out the agenda of the mainstream liberal media, particularly when it comes to protecting their darling warmonger, Nikki Haley, which is exactly what they're doing, okay? Everybody is going after Vivek for criticizing Nikki Haley, okay? They're trying to say it's sexism while at the same time claiming that she's such a strong woman, but anytime you criticize her, they have to defend her as if she's some type of victim. But they never ask about the critiques that Vivek is actually levying against Nikki Haley. They don't ever ask about the warmongering. They never question the forever wars that the United States always gets ourselves into. They never question the foreign policy establishment. However, when you have a guy that comes along that pushes for foreign policy that is different than the traditional fight every war we can get in foreign policy that people like Nikki Haley adhere to, these people want to boohoo, whine, cry a river, and make Vivek answer every question in the book for why he believes what he believes. But again, these people have no criticisms or critiques of the neocon / neoliberal establishment when it comes to foreign policy. That has been an absolute, complete, and utter disaster. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and react to this clip. But before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Noble Gold. Chances are you've been here before. The chaos in the markets, oil, stocks, just when you thought it was safe and interest rates were rising, new threats are coming out of nowhere. Tensions are boiling from Asia to Europe, and adaptation is the key to securing your wealth. You may not have considered gold before. It's not speculation, but insurance. And right now, you need some insurance. Noble Gold Investments has been protecting investors from disaster for years with precious metals. So if you're worried, it might be time to take a fresh look at gold and silver. Gold is a proven shield for your portfolio and a volatility balance against uncertainty. If it helps, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with its new IRAs this month. If you open your Noble Gold Investments IRA or roll over your 401k, you can claim your coin today. Remember, crisis brews, portfolios waver, and gold insulates. Secure yourself against threats today. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That is noblegoldinvestments.com, the only gold company I trust. And just remember, there's a risk with every investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind.
Ramaswamy, why do you keep going at Nikki Haley? Why do you think this is going to bear fruit?
Chris, I don't know what you've been smoking, man. You and the rest of the mainstream media. It's laughable. Nikki Haley's been going after me the whole campaign. First debate, second debate. You know, she's been trailing me for much of the time, but I realize the establishment media has realized that there's a puppet they want to put up. I'm not playing that game. The grassroots of this country know they want a leader who isn't going to send us, our sons and daughters, to go die in foreign wars that racked up $7 trillion in debt. Dick Cheney 2.0 is taking over the GOP. Problem is the Democratic establishment media is now rooting for war, too. I'm the only candidate speaking for a true America First agenda on that debate stage, and I think we're going to be successful.
Vivek, how are you going to bring people together when you just put together a tapestry of conspiracies? You know that I'm not pitching anything about
Chris,
Nikki Haley.
what are you
She won't
talking
even come
about?
on my show.
There's no tapestry.
She won't even come on my show.
Tapestry
What are you
of
talking about,
conspiracies.
Pepe?
I'm sure she doesn't.
Hold on a second. I let you put it out there, and now I get to finish smoking, and now I get to answer, which is, this is what the media is doing, is putting up Nikki Haley against me because they know I'm the real deal. Please. She hasn't even been on my show. I'm just watching you get slapped around by her, and I'm wondering what your strategy is.
The fact of the matter is...
Wow. Again, regardless of whether or not Nikki Haley will come on Chris Cuomo's show, that doesn't change the fact that, at least since that debate, I've not seen one media outlet actually talk about the substance of the criticisms that Vivek has levied against Nikki Haley. All they've done is basically protect Nikki Haley, pretend that Nikki Haley is a victim because she's a woman, while at the same time telling us she's a strong woman. Okay, she's so strong. But at the same time, making her seem like a very weak woman because they're always trying to protect her from attacks against Vivek that are 100% justified, right? He has real serious criticisms. And once again, what you're saying is that Chris Cuomo, instead of actually talking about the real substance of the criticisms, which Vivek just laid out, $7 trillion in wars that we fought that people like Nikki Haley want to continue to get us into, no, they don't actually really want to address that. They don't talk about that. What he wants to, why you keep attacking Nikki? Do you think this is going to work? How are you supposed to bring people together with these conspiracies that we're protecting her? Well, what you're doing right now is literally proof and evidence of what Vivek is saying, which is that you're protecting her. Because these people never engage in the real criticism, the real conversation. They want to go have these side conversations about Vivek saying that she's Dick Cheney in heels, okay? Or, I don't know, Dick Cheney with a wig or whatever, right? They want to have those conversations about the attacks. But again, it's never about the substance of what he's actually saying. It's just about the fact that, well, she's a woman and she's been attacked by a man. Therefore, we have some bigotry going on here, right? This ain't right.
Chris, my strategy is calling out the mainstream media like I did to Kristen Welker at the start of that debate. I asked her about the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, told her to look the audience in the eye and apologize to them. Just like I'll tell you, you're part of the mainstream media despite pretending like you're not. Look the audience in the eye and tell them how you covered for your brother. For all that happened.
I'm part of the mainstream media.
Hey,
listen.
And you play the same games that the rest of the mainstream media does.
Take care of
you're
your
doing
family?
it tonight.
That's fine.
You have been covering for your brother. You have been playing a game. You were kicked off air at CNN.
Of course I help my brother. Of course I do.
And you know what? That's been journalistic standards that have now been failed, not just by you, but by every member of the broken political media. So yes, it is going to take an outsider to call it out. And you want to look
everyone in the media is responsible for covering for my brother? See what I'm saying?
90%.
You miss
90% of the media is colluding with respect to pushing one answer on the American public for the origin of COVID-19,
which is what?
To the Hunter Biden laptop story,
what
to now
which
people they decide they want to put up as their puppets to take on Donald Trump.
What does any of that have to do?
Fact of the matter.
Look, Vivek, you can talk a lot.
What it has to do with it is that mainstream media is setting the terms of the actual debates in this country.
Okay? What do you mean he's not saying anything? He is saying things. He said exactly what he should be saying. See, this is what blows my mind about these people, right? Vivek is one of the most articulate presidential candidates that we have. Most presidential candidates, they don't actually really tell you what they want to do, right? They talk in vague terms and slogans. And the reason why they do that is because vague slogans, it's hard to question that, right? It's hard to question that, okay? But Vivek actually does lay out an agenda and an actual plan for what he wants to do. He speaks very clearly about the things he means, and the media act like the guy is just talking out of his ass when clearly he's not. The people that are talking out of their ass are the establishment candidates that they love so much, like Nikki Haley, like Joe Biden, like Tim Scott, who just dropped out. Those people are the ones that are talking out of their ass. Vivek is actually thoughtful. Now, what Vivek is saying right here is that, look, everybody in the mainstream liberal media colludes to push one agenda. You collude to push one type of candidate, whether it be a Nikki Haley, a Joe Biden, a Tim Scott, a Gavin Newsom, like Democrat or Republican, they all got to be in the establishment circle in order to get positive press. If they're outside of the establishment circle, okay, they're going to get more negative press. The people that are pushed and promoted on the American people the most are always those within the establishment circle, regardless of whether or not they're Democrat or Republican. They have to be within the establishment, okay? And that is what Vivek is saying here. And Chris Cuomo is playing dumb, acting like I don't know what you're saying. You're not saying anything at all. But he's really heard about the fact that Vivek called him out for being a so-called journalist in the media and covering for his brother, right? Which again is journalistic malpractice.
You can talk a lot, but not necessarily be saying anything that's worthwhile.
You would know a lot
Here's
about
my
that,
simple
Chris.
question.
I've been listening to you, and I think that you're a good example of that.
Nikki Haley keeps kicking your ass in these debates. Why?
According to the left-wing media,
pick someone else.
Chris, give me a freaking break. You turn on social media, you understand. People should watch that debate. I went to New Hampshire. People were laughing at the idea of the mainstream media's coverage of the New York Times columnists and people like you who belong there with one narrative because you have some identity politic vision of what you think a leader of this country should look like.
Nikki Haley
when in fact
is
the
my
grassroots
Trojan
of this
horse?
country understand. Well, the fact of the matter is you guys have made a career out of deciding that the America First agenda is not the future of this country. Kick that out of the Republican Party. Put a genteel version that you can control as your little puppet so American politics looks the way you want it to. And yes, many people, you know what? We don't need a Republican Party leader who itself is a wholly owned subsidiary of Boeing, which itself is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Democratic Party, masquerading as a Republican.
Vivek,
so I
there's
do
a
think
reason
that the real
that she is
swamp
beating you in the
uniparty is a
polls.
problem.
There's a problem
for the last 6 weeks, and before that, it was the next 6 months before that. The fact of the matter is, we got one front runner in this race with 60 points ahead of everybody. That's Donald Trump,
the
and we should
change
talk
that you
about
gotta
how we're going
figure
to
out.
actually have a different leader. The change I'm going to figure out is
you're
this.
not going to have a
generational
leader if he wants to be the guy.
in the GOP.
He'll be the guy.
Well,
yeah,
the
but
leader,
all you're doing is playing to the divide, Vivek. You're not bringing anybody
Chris,
together.
I'm not playing to
you're
the
not
divide.
trying to
I'm
bridge
actually
any
playing
gap.
to. Nobody's reaching.
You're
Chris,
playing a
Chris, I
baby
don't know
Trump game.
What the point of your actual interview is if you're not actually interested in getting answers
It's to
hard
say,
questions.
stop
Here's the
being
answer.
negative
Chris,
and attacking people and offer something to people
Chris,
that's
I'm not here
positive.
But he has, right? But at the same time, when you're offering the alternative, which is less wars, okay, which is less get away from the neoliberal, neocon establishment foreign policy. Apparently, Chris Cuomo is not smart enough to understand that that is offering something, right? You need to criticize the current thing while promoting the future, which is that we protect our own border instead of protecting other people's borders. But again, Chris Cuomo, who I don't know if he's ever listened to Vivek or what, but it's this. He goes to these same talking points everybody in the media goes with when it comes to Vivek. They never discuss what the guy actually says. They pretend that he's not saying anything or that he's not proposing any ideas or he doesn't have any solutions. What all he has is ideas and solutions, right? They just don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to talk about it. Because if they acknowledge it and they had to talk about it, it will make him look good. It will make him look legitimate. It will make him look smarter than the establishment candidates that are in the race. And this is what they do. This is exactly what they do. Chris Cuomo is a part of that, right? He wants so desperately to get back to a major network, right? He wants so desperately to get on an MSNBC, back on CNN, ABC, NBC, whatever. He wants desperately to do that. And he's so upset that he's on News Nation. He's now become a C or a B ranked news anchor, okay? So again, he's a little butthurt here because he's getting called out.
Something.
I am offering, if across this country, the grassroots of this country, we are offering a vision of what we stand for as Americans. Nobody's reaching young people in this race like I am. I've been to more college campuses than any Republican in the history of our party, bringing in young people in droves. 40% of the 100,000 plus, 150,000 plus donors that have come into this campaign are first-time ever donors to the GOP.
Hey, thank you for watching.
Yeah, please. So again, it's just so funny how the media doesn't like when they get called out, right? They don't like when they're confronted on their lies and they're held accountable. See, traditionally speaking, politicians don't hold the media accountable, okay? The Democrat Party plays buddy-buddy with the liberal media. Republicans are scared of the liberal media, right? There's only a few Republicans that are actually willing to call out the media to their face and their lies and to expose them. And again, notice the pattern here, right? Those are the people that are hated the most because, again, calling out the media is how you attack the establishment and how you destroy the narrative, which is to destroy the messenger, the people that are carrying the message, as bias, as propagandists, as carrying water for the state, right? They're carrying water for the establishment, which is exactly what Chris Cuomo is doing here and what everybody has been doing, the rest of me has been doing, especially after this debate, how they keep trying to make it seem like Nikki Haley's some victim because Vivek attacked her while not addressing the actual real criticisms against Nikki Haley. It's fascinating stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.